Hi, how are you guys? My name is Rebecca Nilu Castro Mobisa. I am a real estate agent in the state of Virginia. I passed my real estate exam on the first try on December 16, 2020. I am 27 years old, I think. Whatever. I'm damn near almost 30. And I decided to take a leap in faith and get into real estate in that avenue. Just to give you guys a backstory, I did property management, which is a part of real estate, but I did property management here in Virginia for about 4 to 5 years. And I worked my way up from a leasing agent to a leasing manager, which is like assistant property manager, to a property manager here in Richmond. And I love the experience. I love the ability to help people find their homes and make them feel like they're part of a community, you know? Because I feel like we've lost that, the ability to feel like we have a tribe or a community. So I tried my best to make sure that anywhere I worked, that people felt comfortable and that they loved where they lived. That was always a big thing for me. So I had a baby. His name is Mateo. And I decided, listen, I need to do more than just be a property manager without my real estate license, because I could do that in the state of Virginia. I work with a broker and I work under his license, and I'm not managing single families, I'm managing communities. So it's a bit different. So apartment complexes. So it is a bit different. But I wanted to get more involved. I want to get into the selling and buying of homes, someone's forever home, someone's started up home, someone's investment home. I wanted to get involved in that. And I wanted to for a while. Like, I used to like look at homes and I'm like, dang, that can sell for this amount and that can sell for that amount. And I would promote it this way and I would promote it that way. And it was all just talk because I didn't have a real estate license and I wasn't even doing anything so with that aspect. So I decided, hey, my son's here. I want to show him that you can achieve any goal that you set for yourself as long as you work hard and you don't give up. That's the big part, is not giving up. So I took a leap of faith and purchased my my real estate courses so I could start the journey. So in Virginia, you need to do 120 credits, and then, which is equivalent to 120 hours, and then take the school you're going to, their practice test, and then their final test, and then that will give you access to take the national and state exam with the PSI. So I did that. So what I ended up doing actually was signing up with Mosley Flint School of Real Estate, and I took their deluxe package, and that was about anywhere between $300 to $400, but it came with all the courses online because I prefer online. I got flashcards, I got the textbook, and I got practice tests, things that I can use to study and do simulations with. I also decided to listen to different podcasts. So the main one that I feel like made a big impact was Prep Agent. That one was really good, and he did have his course. And I told myself if I didn't pass my real estate in the first exam, the first try, I was going to sign up for his course because I truly loved his energy and I love the way he teaches and he goes about things. So I definitely thought about signing up for Prep Agent. I also bought an Audible book specifically for the state of Virginia, and it's how to pass my real estate exam in the state of Virginia, or real estate exam for the state of Virginia. I'll grab the name and I'll link it below. But I listened to that as well because it also had different information than what the school was providing. And I went for there. But let me give you guys a breakdown of how I went about studying. And this may not work for you guys, and it's perfectly fine if you don't like it. But what I did was pretty much take the course all at once. So I got the course April 2020. I finished the whole course, like taking the classes and all that, within that month. and I only had one section left, which was the math section. But where I work, that's when busy season starts, is May, because that's when I live in Richmond, and I work at well, I worked, because soon, when I'm not gonna be working there, I'll go into that later. I work right in the fan district, so I am where all the VCU students are, and all the other U of R kind of can live there too, but it's a little bit more far out for them, but it's possible. So I live there. I work there, and that's when our busy season starts, because that's when people are looking more actively to get into an apartment, trying to secure their homes and stuff. So I honestly did not have time to do the math aspect of it yet. So I just decided to put it down. I have the course for a year, and I was like, I can finish this after busy season's over. So I went ahead and I went through the season. I completed all the stuff, and honestly, I forgot about my course. Then I guess I was like going through, like, trying to reorganize my things, my office space, which is really my son's playroom. And I was going through things, and I saw my book, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta finish this course. Because I promised myself on the book, I wrote on there, have your real estate license by the end of 2020. So I was like, oh shoot, I gotta go ahead and finish this. This was what, November? This was November. So that's when I refound it. So mind you, I stopped from May. I stopped, let's just say April 29th, because it was like right about to be May. So April 29th, and then didn't reopen it till November. So I went ahead and the reason why I was able to do that is because I worked in property management. A lot of the stuff I already knew, and a lot of like the Landlord-Tenant Act and all that, I was already familiar with that. So fair housing, familiar with that. A lot of the stuff was easy for me just to read through and just take. So that's how I did it. You don't need to do it like that. I do very well with just reading something, memorizing it, and then taking an exam. That's just how I'm built. But that doesn't mean I don't study. I do study, and that's what I'm going into right now. Sorry, I babble. So like I was saying, I decided, hey, let me go ahead and take this seriously and get this done. So I went ahead and I started the course over, but started back from where I left off, which was the math section. I went ahead and completed the math section, took the test, and then I had to take the final exam and state exam for the Mosley Flint School. So I went ahead and I just skimmed through everything and took the exam, and somehow or another I passed it. Honestly, your girl did not pass the course of like flying colors either. I did do very well, but I averaged, because of the way I took the test at the end, I averaged like a C, meaning like I barely passed the stuff. I think personally, that's how I took it. But your girl passed, and she went to sign up for her PSI. So I passed maybe, I want to say maybe, let's just say the 16th of November. I completed the course, passed the exam that the school gives you, and I went ahead and signed up for my national state exam. So I went ahead and signed up for a month later. That's why I'm pretty sure it was like the 16th of November or something, because I made sure I had a whole month to study. So I kicked everything in high gear. I started off with looking at the presentations over again, and I'm the type of person who likes to listen and take notes. So I tackled it that way. So I went ahead and reviewed the videos from each section and started writing down my notes. Cool, whatever, I did that aspect. Then I went ahead and while I was listening to the video, the second time with Mosley Flint, because they give you videos for each section. So section 1, chapter 1, section 1 type thing. So I did that. And then I went ahead and I also would read the video, hear the video one more time, and then highlight in my notebook or in my textbook what was being rediscussed or the main points of it. And I would highlight that just so it's more of a visual as well. So after I did that, I took the test over. I knew that I can do better than the scores I originally got because I was only trying to get the classes done with. And that's just how I work. I need to get them all done with first. And then I'm just reassuring myself, okay, you did it the first time just by skimming through. This time, give it your all and do it correctly. So that's what I did, because like I skimmed through the whole book. Then that's how I passed the class, because I skimmed. Don't judge me. That's just how I learn. And then I went ahead for the test for, like I said, I was reading the book. I was listening, reading the book, highlighting the parts that were mentioned in the book and in the video, because I felt like those were key points. And then I also rewrote my notes while I was listening to the video. So I was writing the notes while listening and putting down important information in keynotes. With that, in the morning, when I would wake up, let's say it's 5 in the morning, I'd brush my teeth, get myself ready, and I would make sure to dedicate 10 to 20 minutes just to vocab. So I would go through, make sure I was knowing the vocabs by memory, that I was getting everything done, and I was truly understanding the words and memorizing definitions. I also, on my way to work, because my commute was about like 20 minutes. I live in Midlothian. I work in Richmond City. So it was about a 20-minute drive, and I would have Prep Agent playing. And I would listen to it, and I would go ahead. He had like these different competitions that he had, and he was like asking for definitions, and what do you do with this, and what do you do with that? What's tendency in common? And I would go ahead and like pretend I'm part of it, because obviously it's a pre-recording. It's something he has in his YouTube channel and in his podcast. So that's what I was listening to. And I made sure that I was able to respond as quickly as the other people that were taking the course. And then I kept doing that every morning. The Audible, I would listen while I was cleaning. So I made sure to dedicate like an hour to this Audible. And mind you, I did the Prep Agent and the Audible just that month that I was studying for this exam. So I went ahead and I would do an hour of just listening to the Audible, just making sure I understood everything. I was cleaning. I was obviously multitasking because I am a wife and I am a mother. So I needed to make sure I didn't ignore my obligations. Like, I need to make sure my son's fed. I got to make sure he's taken care of, make sure that my husband's fed, make sure that like we're all still communicating. And luckily I have an amazing husband, and he was extremely helpful. He understood what I was doing. We actually went to school together, went to college together, and he already knew how obsessive I can be. So he took the reins and he took care of a lot of things for me. So I appreciate that from him. But yeah, so I listened to this Audible, and I kept listening to it, making sure I understood it. And at the end of each chapter on this Audible, it also did like a test. So it would do like a practice test. And while it was asking the questions, I would answer. And if I got it right, I'm like, okay, cool, I got that. And if I didn't get it right, I would like pin it. Like I would write it down. I'd always have like a little notebook with me, and I'd be like, oh, this question is the one I got wrong. So I would pause it and I would write down the question real quick and then put down the right answer, and then go back and try to figure out how is that the right answer. So that's how I went about studying for that. Like I said, I did recopy all the sections of the book of Mosley Flint, so I was doing that. So overall, I spent a lot of time just dedicating time to studying within that month that I was trying to get myself prepared. So the first, like if I break it down by weeks, the first week in the morning, I started off with Prep Agent, going to work. Well, actually, let me go from the top. So wake up, do at least 10 to 20 minutes of vocab. After I do 10, 20 minutes of vocab, I'll get myself ready, get ready for work, take my dog out. Then I'll go in the car. This is a 20-minute drive, and I would listen to Prep Agent. 20 minutes there, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. And God, I lost my train of thought. I would get to work, and then I would obviously do my work stuff, but I would also listen to the recordings, which I didn't mention before. I'm mentioning it now. I would record myself reading the notebook, and then I would play it to myself while I was at work. So I would have it playing very low in the office while I was doing my job, so that way I can hear it and I can kind of study per se while I was working without actually taking my attention away from my job. So I did that. I would get home. I would be driving home, listen to Prep Agent on my way home. I would then get my son, get him home from daycare, and do what I need to do. I would do an hour of just listening to the Audible, cleaning things up. And then let's say I got home at 6:30. So from 6:30 to 7:30, I was listening to the Audible. And then I would take a break, spend like maybe 20 minutes with my husband, talking to him, whatever the case is. Then I would spend 2 hours at night listening to the Mosley Flint presentations and class courses while I was taking notes. And then I would also, within those 2 hours at the end, maybe 20 minutes, read my notes over and record them. Record myself reading them. And I would do that. That was the first 2 weeks just about, because that's when I was taking down my notes. The last 2 weeks, same thing. Early morning, doing vocab. In the car, listening to Prep Agent. Listening to my video recordings. Get home, an hour, so it's 6:30 to 7:30, listening to the Audible. And take a break. So from 6:30 to 7:30, 8 o'clock, go back to studying. For the last 2 weeks, though, I went ahead and I listened to the video and I would highlight the book to key points. And then use the book and make sure that I was doing it correctly, and then go from there. The only thing that changed in the last week is that I began taking the practice test that was on the back of the books and began to make sure I got them correctly. I took the practice tests before I took the exam, and I kept, for some reason, getting like barely passing it, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And then the last time I tried it, I got like almost a perfect score. So I was like, oh shoot, okay, cool. So the last few times I took it, I was getting like some perfect scores, and I was like, okay, this is good. I went in that morning and I was again listening to Prep Agent before my exam, and I was making sure I understood all the vocab. I also did some meditation as well. I made sure to relax. The night before, I did no studying because I didn't want to stress myself out. I didn't do any studying. All I did was actually still studying. I listened to the Audible and I stayed calm because I felt like if I don't know it by now, I don't know it at all. Don't know it yet. And I was trying to remind myself, it's not the end of the world if you don't pass on the first try. You can always retake it. I already had a plan. I knew I was going to pay for a Prep Agent if I didn't pass on the first try. So I went ahead, went to sleep early, got myself ready. I do fast in the morning, so the only thing I have in my stomach was coffee. I run on coffee majority of the time, if you know that about me. That's on Instagram. I have a little series called Café con Pan. So I went ahead and did that. I really hope that the way I study might help you pass on the first try, but just be mindful that if you don't pass on the first try, it's not the end of the world. A lot of amazing real estate agents don't pass on the first try. One of the people I admire and work with, she didn't pass her exam on the first try. It took her 3 times, and she's an amazing real estate agent. She's not only a real estate agent or licensed in the state of Virginia, she's licensed in Texas. She's licensed in like 2 other states, aside from Texas. So she has like 4 places that she's licensed, and she didn't pass on the first try. So don't beat yourself up. At the end of the day, that's just one obstacle you'll get over, and when you do finally pass, you can hit the ground running. So don't stress it out. I appreciate you guys listening to this YouTube thing. I will be posting, hopefully, weekly sooner than later. And I look forward to speaking to you all. Be great.